Hello and welcome back to the Power BI training part 4. And in the previous trainings, we have successfully loaded the data to Power BI, as well as we've created some quick measures as well. So now this time we will introduce DAX calculations to Power BI and how we will create customized measures as well as calculated tables, calculated columns. So without any delay, let's get started. I have the previous Power BI file opened up on my computer. So first we will create a calculated table, and what we will do is we'll just replicate the salesperson's table and create it as a calculated table. So what we can do is we can go to the modeling pane and click on new table. So you see the formula bar appears as table equals, and now you need to write some code. So what we'll write here is salesperson equals. You can see the intelligence is also working here. So we will just it guides us that which table to connect. So we'll just simply replicate this sales performance table and create it as a new table. If you look at this icon, it has a calculator as well as the table. So this denotes that it is a calculated table. It has the same data as the other original table has. The only difference is that um, if you see that this salesperson performance table only has title and salesperson, while this salesperson table has the entire columns which are there. Also, the formatting doesn't apply on the new calculated table. And if you see a relationship, there is no relationship of this salesperson table, while the performance table has a relationship with other tables as well. So you can do a calculated table, and you can replicate or copy the table if you want to create a relation, if you want to keep it as a separate one. Now what we'll do is we'll create a relationship between employee key of this calculated table with the sales table. So this is a complete new relationship, and it doesn't affect any other tables with the other relationship, because this has gone some complicated, and we have disabled this employee key relationship uh, to the sales table and the salesperson table. So now this is completely new relationship. So now if we want to calculate sales by person, we will use this salesperson table rather than the performance table. We'll also now hide some of the columns like employee key, employee ID, and UPN. So we'll just control click these columns, right click, and click on hide in report view. So if we click on salesperson table now, in the property, we can enter the description as well to be displayed in the report view. We'll enter it now as salesperson related to sales. Yes, there you go. In the salesperson performance, we'll enter description salesperson related to regions. So that when we go back to the report view, we will be able to easily identify the description that what it is. This is a salesperson related to region, and this salesperson is related to sales. In the last video, we mentioned about that uh, the targets and the salesperson's target performance is not measured by the date. So there we don't have any generic date table here, so that we can, after that we can slice and dice based on that. But I mean, by generic means that, there is no specific date table with which we can connect to our sales data and the dates and then slice and dice based on the date table. So what we'll do is we'll create a DAX function of a calculated table. We'll simply go to the modeling view and then click on new table, and then we'll give it a date function, date table name, and there's a function called calendar auto, and this has an argument inside that says fiscal year and month. This means that which month the fiscal year ends. So we'll put up June here and click on enter. If you go to the data view and click on date, it has created dates from 1st of July 2017 right till 30th of June 2022. If you look at the sales table and the order date, it starts from 1st of July and ends on 2020. So what it does is that it automatically it returns it returns a date value or date uh, column, and the calendar auto means that it scans all the data model date columns to determine the earliest and the latest value stored in that data model. It then creates one row for each date within its range and and it will extend the range in either direction to ensure full years of data is stored. So if you see the 1st of July 2017, this must have analyzed the target table, which is taking 1st of July, and it is spanning till 2021. So this date table has around 1826 rows, which means that they've generated a 5 years data. We've created now some calculated tables from salespersons and date. Now what we'll do is we'll create a calculated column. This date table is just showing up dates. We will create some more columns in this date table so that we'll be able to ensure that we can slice and dice in different dimensions of the date. We'll just click on this ellipsis and then click on new column. Now what we'll do is we'll create a year column. An year column is related to the financial year or the fiscal year. So what we'll do is we'll just update it by saying FY, and we need the date in the format of FY21, FY17, FY18 or something. So what we'll do is we'll write FY and then connect it with the date. We have a here function where we can input date. If we press this, if we press enter, we'll create a year table. And notice what will happen is that it is going to so notice what's going on here is that 1st of January 2018 is showing FY 2018. It should show FY 2017 till 30th of June. So what we'll do is we'll just modify this query and we'll add a if function statement. So if month, and we'll say that if the month is greater than 6, then true, otherwise false. What it's doing is just adding the date as an argument in the month. It will check each month, each record month. If it is greater than 6, then it will add 1, or else it will remain 0. What will happen is here is that this is showing as FY18 in a correct manner, and FY18 is shown till 30th of June 2018. So this means the next financial year or fiscal year starts, and it is FY 2019. So this year is calculated. Now we will create another column which covers up the quarter. Now we can use that year column that we created in our DAX calculations. So if we select this date year, so what are doing is we are using the Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 methodology, and we need to have some if statements in terms of displaying the month range in between. So now what's done here is that we are calculating the year FY 2018 Q1, FY 2018 Q2, and so on. So this is the year for each record, and then we are adding a letter Q, and then we are applying some if statement. First one is that if the month is less than equal to 3, this means March, then it is quarter 3. If month of date table less than equal 3, we have 3, comma, if parenthesis and 3. We'll copy paste this one and just modify whatever is required. If month is greater than equal to 6, then 4, and if greater than equal to 9, then it's 1, and the rest of the remaining one is quarter 2. We'll close all the parentheses. This is for the first one, this is for the second one, this is for the third one. We'll just click on this arrow and see what is done. It's creating FY 2018 quarter 1. Quarter 2 starts from 1st of October. Quarter 3 starts from 1st of January. And quarter 4 starts from 1st of April. So we are all set to define the year and quarter for the fiscal year. We would also like to have a month column. So what we'll do is we'll create a new month column, name it as month, and it is a simple one that we use a format function. In that format function, we input the date value and then the formatting type. In this formatting type, what we'll do is we'll just write year and MMM. The formatting type or the denotation of the years and months can be found out online on the Microsoft Power BI help site. Once we press enter, the month is created. So it is in the format of 2017 year and the 3 letters of the month. Now what we'll do is we'll create validate this date table. So what we'll do is now we'll create a table. Let's take a matrix. So it has rows, columns, and the values. So what we'll do is we'll drag this row. We'll drag quarter, year, and month. And then from the sales table, we'll drag sales to the column, to the value, sorry. Notice that the sales value are not working because it's showing just one value of that. That is because we haven't created any relationship between sales and the date table. But for the functionality of testing the year versus a month and quarter, we can see this financial year 21 has 4 quarters, quarter 1 has 3 months, and so on. So one thing to notice here is that the months are not in a correct order. So it's by default as an alphabetical order, which needs to be in the format of a monthly order. So we can go back, and what we can do is we can click on this month column, and there is an option called sort column by. This sorts out the column by the contents of the other column. So by default it has selected its own column, but we can select other columns as well. So this means that if we click on date column, it has given me that we cannot sort the month column by date. There can be more than one value for the date. This means that July, this has multiple values and this can be more values associated. So there is no one-on-one reference in that. So for if the engine just try to search for July and look for a unique value, there are multiple values under the same value here. So you cannot sort it out with date. What we will do is we will create another column called date or month key. We'll create a month key column in the date table. So let's go ahead and click on new column from the Hope tab. And then write month key equals year, sorry, year and date 200 plus month. So this calculates a unique key for each month and each year. If we remove this 100 from the calculation, we will just see that it adds up to the the numbers and the stuff. So it adds 7 years to 2017. So you need to have this multiplied by 100. It displays complete value. Now what we'll do is we'll click on month field, and then using that table sort column, we'll select month key. Now see, it will sort out. If we go back to the report view, it sorts out all the months according to the key. Now what we'll do is we'll perform some operations on the date table. So first thing what we'll do is we'll just hide this month key. So if we go to the field's name, there's a eye icon. You just click on this one. It will hide the month key from the report view. We will also create a hierarchy for year, quarter, and month. So it has created year. We'll just drag quarter and month to this. We will also create a relationship between date, sales, and targets. So what we'll do is we'll just use the date key with the order date, and the date key with target month. You can use the other way around as well, target month to the date key. So since now we have created a relationship with the date and sales and days and target, we'll hide the order date from the sales table. So any date function that is to be used will be used from the date table. I'm hiding order date as well as the target month. So the best practice is that once you have created successful relationship between two tables, you can hide the many side of the relationship. So this is one to many. So the many side has the month, the column there, and in this sales table as well. So what we can do is we can just hide those two columns so that anything that we need from the something related to the date, we can use the date table. The last thing what we'll do is we'll mark the date table as a date table, you'll say. So just click on the date table, and there's an option in the table tools called mark as date table, and you click on mark date table. It will ask you for the date column, because it's not necessary that the date column is named as date. We can have other date names as well. So it has detected that this is the only column that is available, and this has validated successfully. We can just click on OK, and this, remember, this thing has changed the icon to the date table, and it has identified this as a date table. Remember, this date table will help us create advanced tax calculations, time intelligence calculations, like previous years, previous months, same period, like last year, and all the stuff. We can notice now, once we've created a relationship, for each year, the sales amount has changed, and it has updated now with the appropriate values. So now what we'll do is we'll create some simple measures. So for example, related to average price and other stuff, it is include average price, minimum, maximum price, and median pricing. So, but first what we'll do is we'll just drag this unit price to the values, and it is displaying unit price. And if we click on the details, it is putting as an average, not the sum, while the sales is given as a sum, and it's to be totaled as a sum. If you remember that we've done it in the data modeling and made the unit price default summarization as average, so that is the reason why it is displaying average by default. This summarization is done implicitly. We can create a measure that contains pricing related to average. So explicitly we can also create a measure. So we just click on the sales table, and then now we'll click on new measure. And new measure, we are calculating average price. We'll use the formula average, and then sales table, then click on unit price. This will create an average price measure. If we have dragged the unit price column, we can change the aggregation technique, like if you want to switch minimum pricing. So if you see, this minimum pricing is done, but if we drag this average price to the sales, and if we go back and select it as average, the values remain same, but the difference between the measure and the column is that in measure we cannot change any aggregation technique, like we cannot switch from average to sum, we cannot switch from sum to minimum or maximum, but from the raw table we can do that. Now what we'll do is we'll create some more visuals. sorry. Now, so what we'll do is we'll create some more measures. Um, that includes the minimum price, maximum price, the median price, and the count or number of orders, and number of order uh, records. So now we have created few measures, starting off with maximum price, median price, minimum price, and something related to orders as well. So notice that order versus order lines, the difference is that order has a distinct count function, which means that it's ignoring duplicates, while order lines has count row function, which means that it is just literally counting the records, and the order function is just using the distinct count to find unique order numbers. We will switch to the modeling tab and then group these measures under a folder. So what we have done is we have just control clicked and multi selected this, and then in the property pane we are adding pricing so that these measures are grouped as pricing. Since we have added basic pricing measures, we can hide the unit price column so that the report creators can use only the pricing measures which are calculated, not the unit price. We'll also group the order as well as order lines to under the same function as counts, folder as counts, and this will have everything that we require for the counts as well as the pricing. If we go back here and click on the matrix, we will remove the unit price column from the matrix and just keep average price measure in that. Now we will create another page. Just cut paste this visual from one first page to another, and we will now see and explore how it is, how every measure works with the values. We will just increase the size of the matrix, make it to expand it to the visibility. So now what we'll do is we'll just select average price. Sorry, we will select average price, then we'll we'll go we'll go for median price, minimum price, maximum price, and from the counts we'll just select order and order lines. We will also go back and remove quarter from this, so it is displayed in a format of year versus month. So now the results look sensible in the sense that um, the pricing are given in a decimal format while the orders are in the quantity format. The only thing that we are looking to change the decimal points for the average price. If you click on the measure of the average price, it has currency and it is put as auto. We'll just put 2 and press enter. So what will happen here is that it will remove the other 4 points of the decimal and make it just 2 decimal points. So now what we'll do is we'll just create some additional measures. First is the target table with the target amount, and we will use the has one value function that whether it this target table has one value, it it gives the details about the employees. So we will create another a new measure in the target table, says target. I'm giving target one because there is another, and there is existing target value there. So target one equals if has one value. This has one value is that if there is only one value of a specified column, it returns true, otherwise it false. So this is an if condition. So if there is no value associated with that particular record, then it will not be displayed. So we are checking sales performance. So we'll just scroll down, salesperson performance, and there you go, and then click on salesperson. This is the condition that we have applied. So if it has one value, then sum the targets. Now we'll finish that and we'll press enter. And then we will format this as 0 decimal places. Now what we'll do is we'll create another page. In that we'll put up salesperson and target one. So this will give us target of that particular salesperson. If you put the original target value, notice that it remains the same, but it is now it is also it is doing some totals of that. Let's go and remove this. We will also create two other measures like variance and variance margin. So now we have created a variance and variance margin. It uses the same has no one value function, and it's just subtracting the target versus the sum of sales. And the variance margin is just using the divide function of variance and target. So if we bring this variance here as well as the variance margin, remember it is not formatted correctly. So what we'll do is we'll just format it correctly. So this is currency with 0 decimal. Probably we'll add 2 decimal places to this. And this variance margin is a percentage. This variance margin is a percentage. So we've selected as a percentage. What we will do now is we'll just use this target amount, since we have created a target amount measure. So what we'll do is we'll just hide the original column. And if you see, as soon as we hide this column, this targets went to the top of the uh, uh, pane because it only contains measures. So any table or anything that only contains measures will go on top of the table with the icon called icon has calculator in this, and that's it. So this is it for the this exercise. In this exercise we created measures, we created calculated tables, we have done creation relationships, as well as we have done some data manipulation as well. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.